What's up, everybody? Happy Monday. Welcome back to another live stream. Hold on. Is that better? It's starting to get real bright here, so I apologize in advance if the lighting is not elite, because spring has sprung in the Great White North, my friends. It's finally springtime, so that means that it's no longer dark out at fucking 4 p.m. It's now 6 o'clock and the sun is still shining. In another month, it's going to be bright out until like 9, 10 at night. It's awesome. We just get shit on for about 8, 9 months, but then the three to 4 months of nice weather we do get, it's pretty elite. What's up, Logan Scott? PA Pal is BTG days. What up, OG? Certified OG here in the chat. Let's go. Rachel Zegler coin soon. I bet you the Rachel Zegler coin would do better than Snow White did in box office. That woke piece of shit. I made a TikTok. No one wants to follow me on TikTok. It's fine. It's not like my TikTok's like straight fire. I'm just going to start posting them on Twitter, so you got to watch them anyways. I made a TikTok months ago when The Acolyte was coming out on Disney, and they were interviewing the producer of The Acolyte, and she's like some lesbo. And was that a bad word? I don't care. Some lesbo. Says it twice. And she's talking about how everything in Star Wars is gay. C-3PO is gay. Everybody's gay. And then they go on to ruin the fucking all of the lore of the show. Oh, the Force is no longer this thing that, you know, and the midichlorians, it doesn't matter. These fucking witches, create the Jedis, and they're fucking blah, blah, blah. And they just shit on all the Skywalkers. And I'm like, people don't want this. People are tired of this fucking woke bullshit. And I said that Disney stock was gonna tank and that The Acolyte was gonna flop. And then someone's like, oh, that clip that you pulled was out of context. I'm like, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. And sure enough, a month later, after I made that TikTok, Disney is fucking nuked, right? Like, I made the TikTok like back here. Disney's down like 30%, and The Acolyte got canceled. What do you want from your boy? Same shit with Snow White. As soon as I fucking saw that stupid fucking Rachel Zegler chick doing the press tour, I'm like, this is going to go so bad. We're not actually going to call her Snow White. That's going to be her nickname. Her name's going to be something Latino. In the fucking story, it's because her skin was white as snow. That's why her name was Snow White. But they just can't let you have anything. Andor's going to be sick. Andor's good. Andor's good. They have the capacity, bro. Thanks, Octopussy. Or Puspy. Octopussy. Octopussy. What's up, Can? What's up, Lucky Foo? I love you too, man. I love all you guys, man. You guys are so nice to me. It makes me feel good, because sometimes people are mean to me on the internet, and that makes me sad. So then I come on these streams over here on YouTube, and everyone's so nice, and it just makes me want to share even more. Snape is black in the new Harry Potter. Yeah, I know. Again, another one where they're like, his skin was so white, it's translucent. Let's make him black. I got nothing wrong with, like, I just don't understand. It's not necessary to make Snape black. Doesn't make any sense. Just seems like they're forcing it down our throats, man. Hey, Mean, why are you so handsome? Thank you. Hugo, te amo as well. Rip off, what's up, G? Thank you. Thank you for the birthday wishes. Can you believe that I am now 39 years old? I'm almost the big 4-0. Almost the big 4-0. What about gay mantra? So, yeah, if someone wants to fill me in on the mantra situation, I don't know the exact details. Like, was it dumped by the team? Is that confirmed? Or was it just some whales? Like, my understanding is, like, the mantra team held, like, the majority of supply. And they were, you know, kind of artificially pushing it up and then just rugged. I don't really know. They made Dumbledore gay. Is nothing sacred anymore? Is nothing sacred anymore? All right, guys, so let's talk about the charts. So there's some good news, okay? And then there's some potentially bad news. So what do you want first? You want the good news or the bad news first? Hey, Mean, would you give a Jew a free account with your firm if they said it was promised to them by God 2,000 years ago? Okay, Matan. You think I'm not hip to the podcast? What's up, Jung-Hoo Kim? How you doing, man? Can I still play basketball at this age? Yeah, but I'm just like a shooter now. Just put me in the corner. I'm good for 1 for 4 from 3. Guaranteed. And a couple rebounds. All right, everyone wants the lies. They want the lies and they want the bad news. Okay, so we'll do the bad news first. So here's the bad news, in my opinion. Okay? The bad news is quite simple. I'm going to use this chart because I already have this trend line drawn in it. The bad news is we've pumped over the last 5-6 days. And at that same time that we pumped directly into this downward trend line, which is exactly where, if price was going to reject, this is exactly where it would probably reject from. And it came out that basically Michael Saylor was buying this entire time. Like, this was his buying window was the pump. I believe his buying window was the 7th to the 11th, which is like the entire pump. I love you, Nathan. So the bad news is that this could very well just be another bearish retest of this multi-month downward trend line. And it was simply fueled by Saylor pumping, which is what happened the last time we kind of had one of these rallies as well. If I'm not mistaken, it was Saylor buying as well. So that's the bad news. The bad news is we're coming up into multi-month resistance in the form of this downward trend line. And Saylor, who generally buys at the worst possible price ever, it seems to be the one who was buying. So that's the bad news. Okay? Generally, when you have a super obvious trend line like this, there's going to be forced positioning at this trend line. And what do I mean by that? A trend line works because everyone sees it. It's kind of like a self-fulfilling prophecy. If enough people are looking at this trend line and saying, this is resistance, I need to sell, price can actually sell off from here. I'm not saying it's enough to send it to Hades, but that is part of why TA works. Is because if enough people think that this is a good level, so they're going to buy it, it can actually become support because a bunch of people buy there. Okay, so the risk here is we have this very obvious trend line. This is exactly where the lower high should form, and we got to see. Now, could we break out of here, right? And then it's a fake out? Yeah. I think this is potentially possible here, something like this, where we come up into resistance and then we reject, but that's the bad news. Okay? So we got to be aware that this is, resistance here, and Saylor bought a bunch. Okay? So that's why I clickbaited you with the title, why this market rally's a lie, because you were kind of lied to. Hey, Maine, are you British or Australian? Do I sound either British or Australian? What do they call apartments in Africa? BitBoy, aren't you in fucking jail? He said Wakandos. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Okay, now we want the good news, right? We want the good news, okay? Lucky Foo says, yo, can you make more in-depth videos saucing it up even more than Monday's range strat? Here's the good news for you, Lucky Foo. You might actually be an extremely lucky Foo. Do you want to know why? If you go to my page and you go to playlists, I actually have an entire education.
Yo, what is up?
Playlist. with over 24 videos in it that you can watch, similar to Monday's range and other stuff. This is my most viewed video. Should be fucking even more views. Can't believe I don't have a video at 100K yet. It's crazy. So check that out. Also, guys, please check out that podcast I did with Words of Wisdom if you haven't already. It was good, and I would love to support my boy by making sure that gets a lot of views. Did I make any money shorting Ohm? No, I didn't. I didn't know it happened. It was too late. Okay, until it was too late. Okay, now the good news. The good news is everything that I said was going to happen happened. Which means I called it. Which means I told you so. Which means the clout goblin is collecting his clout. Last week, on Friday, whenever I did my last stream, I think it was Friday. What was I doing? I was doing this. What's this? This is called sowing my clout seeds. I'm out in the clout field just fucking throwing those seeds, fucking splooging them all over the field. And then over the weekend, those clout seeds grew into little clout plants, which now have become a bountiful clout harvest that I am now here to collect. So I am now collecting my clout in that everything we kind of had talked about happened, right? So we had our 3 drives to the downside set up, right? And I talked about this long in the last video. I said, hey, we can be looking, this is the last 2 or 3 streams, maybe even more, last 4 streams, we've been talking about a setup forming on some sort of either over-under, right? Or a 3 drives, right? And that's exactly what we got here. We got your 3 drive setup, and we got our push to the upside. I talked about the weekly SFP, right? I said, hey, if we get a weekly SFP here, that means on the H12, we'll now have a breaker. And on that breaker, any sort of retest become buying opportunities. So we got the double weekly sweep. We actually closed above this old low as well. And so if you go watch our stream from last Monday, either Monday or Sunday, whenever the one was, like the first one from last week, you'll see you back here. We were talking about this, dude. We were talking about this back here when we were at the lows, okay? We were talking about it right here. And then what did we get? We got the H12 breaker right here. And I said, hey, if we can MSB, which we did, we market structure broke, we now retested, this can go from right here. It can go from right here. It's retested the breaker. This thing can go now. Now, I would actually prefer a little bit of a pullback to take another long position here. So I think that the initial long was down here. Remember, we had the daily SFP as well. I said, hey, on the daily SFP here, you could just long this thing, stop below the low. It also was a Monday's range trade, if you guys remember. So all of those things ended up basically coming to fruition here. And now we have Monday's low and we have the monthly open right below us. So the way that I see Bitcoin playing out now, ideally, assuming this isn't some big fuck you sailor scam and that this thing's just going to fucking die, is I would like to believe that the draw is now here towards the yearly open. And so if that's going to be what's going to happen here, what I'm going to be looking for effectively is any sort of move below Monday's low, potentially retesting the monthly open or this demand here, and that's going to be the long trigger. If we get it. We might not. Like, this might be it. We might just retest the daily breaker, and we might just rip. So I'm not going to market buy here by any means. I want to do business where I want to do business. So if we get a pullback below Monday's low, something like this, I think that's a long that you can take on Bitcoin for this coming week. Okay, pretty straightforward, right? Yeah, Riz is a super cool guy. What's up, Shank? Just got a breakout account. Strictly gonna trade Monday's range. Hell yeah, bro. Good luck. Clout addict. I think you mean clout addict. I'm addicted to the clout. I got the clout disease. I'm a cloutaholic. I'm joining Clouts Anonymous. Except for I'm not. Because I don't have a problem. You have a problem. Nothing's wrong with me. What's the magic light behind you? You mean this? The award for having the #1 crypto prop firm on the planet? Even though we only launched a year ago, #1, best in the biz? No big deal. I don't know. It's just some sort of light. I cleaned my office over the weekend, guys, and it feels amazing. Vacuumed the floor, computer dusted my fucking computer, my keyboard, wiped down all the surfaces. It feels so good, dude. Man, I made $10 million learning from your TikTok videos. That's unbelievable. That's unbelievable. I'm so happy for you. 3 breakout payouts in the past 7 days. Bro is absolutely crushing it. Let's go. Mez says, do you intend to de-risk alts when we get to 90K or see the action we get there? Realistically, because my initial strategy was to sell once we got the weekly structure break and I didn't sell enough, if we come up here, I will absolutely de-risk. Whether that be by selling spot or by opening up short hedges, I'm happy to do it because you have to think about it logically, okay? So let's assume for a second that we come up and we retest. I'm just going to turn off all my drawings here for a sec. So let's assume for a second that we are going to come up and we're going to retest this, okay? From here. This is a good fucking learning moment. I'm getting hot. I'm taking my hoodie off. Relax, order block. What do you know about the Kakashi Travis Scott gym shirt? What do you know about it? You don't know anything about it. That's what you don't know. Okay. So, this is a good thing to understand about trading, okay? Trading is a game of probabilities. So we have to use probabilistic thinking in our decision-making process, okay? So, show us your other neck. You'd like that, wouldn't you? About. I said about. Fuck you. Okay, so we have to think probabilistically. Here is the most obvious way to tell if someone on Twitter is fucking retarded, okay? There's a lot of ways. You can look at their name, and if it's got, their profile's got a Bored Ape picture, they're probably retarded, right? If they've got .eth after their name, they're probably retarded. If they've got a bunch of altcoins in their bio, probably retarded. But another surefire way to tell if someone is indeed retarded is when you post some trading ideas, trading scenarios. Because if you guys are posting on Twitter, like let's say you're trying to get your following growing, right? So you're posting on Twitter and you're trying to gain some followers. You're going to post charts and you're going to say, okay, I think we might do this, or if we lose this level, I might short it like this. And they're going to say, up or down, so up or down, thanks. And that person, you should be really nice to them because you're speaking to a retarded person. You're speaking to someone with a learning disability. So it's like that show Love on the Spectrum, right? Like you gotta treat these people with respect and patience, and you got to be nice because they have challenges that you don't have. And the reason these people are retarded is because trading is a game of probabilities. It's a game of if this and that. So when you have a level, really only two things, maybe three, can happen as price approaches your level. Okay? Price can either use your level as support, and then maybe you want to get into a long, right? Or it's going to use that level, lose that level, and then use it as resistance. And so you might want to say, okay, I'm now going to short a breakdown. Now, to the retarded person, they're going to go, oh, it's up or down. This guy just said it's going to go up or down. No shit, Sherlock. Okay, and just remember, they've got a lot going on, okay? They've got problems at home. They have to go through life being that stupid, that retarded. Like, imagine having to go through life being that level of intelligence. It'd be very difficult. So the last thing they need is you to just pile on them, okay? But for someone who understands that trading is a game of probabilities and it requires probabilistic thinking and decision making, you know that each outcome is going to be determined by like a 1 or a 0. If this happens, I do 1. If this happens, I do 0. Right? It's almost binary. Now, obviously, there's going to be instances where there's multiple scenarios, and maybe there's 3, maybe there's 4, but it doesn't change the fact that you got to lay out the probabilities, and then you try and determine which one is the most likely, and then mitigate your risk accordingly for if you're right, how much can you profit based on what you're risking, if you're wrong, how much do you have to protect yourself so you don't get blown up being wrong. So, using that same unbelievable analogy here, okay, we have a very clear point of breakdown here, okay? So this is the range low. We lost this area. That was where price broke through. We're now bearish below that. So if you're saying, I have a bunch of spot, and I don't know what to do. Is the bottom in here? Are we going to go back to all-time high? Are we going to go down to here? You don't know what to do, and you're like freaking out. So, and let's say you fucked up. You were supposed to sell here and you didn't, okay? Like me. I didn't sell nearly as much as I should have when we broke structure, but it is what it is, okay? So what are the probabilities here? Well, if we come up to here, okay, so let's assume that the next leg of price brings us up to here on this weekly candle. Oops. Why is it so goddamn hot in here? Is it just me? You now have a couple of options. You can say, okay, option 1, this is the most logical lower high spot. I need to de-risk. Okay. Option 2 is you fucking just hold. You say, you know what? I'm holding. We're going to break through and we're going to go higher. Those are really your two main options here. You either assume that, hey, like, you know what? Fuck it. Maybe it makes another low here and then it's going to break. And I'm so glad I didn't sell any of my spot. Or this is the lower high and it's going to go down here. So if you're going to hodl, what do you do here? Probably nothing, right? But what is the risk of each of these situations? Right? Well, if you're going to hodl, you run the risk of this rejecting. And now you could have sold your spot, at 92K, and think of how high altcoins will go if we get up there. But now instead, we're rolling back over, and now you don't know what to do. Do I sell now? Is it going to make a lower high? Like, what if it does this, and then you sell, and then it does this? Like, what do you do, right? How are you going to mitigate that decision? So this is an option, but to me, de-risking of the probabilities is the better move, and here's why. Because if we are going to put in a lower high here, realistically, based on the chart, this is the most likely area for it to happen. Right here. I'm going to get a better exit than if I would have puked the bottom. Altcoins are going to bounce a bunch. Bitcoin's up above 90K. So I'm now only, you know, if this ends up being a lower high and we nuke, I've now managed to get out of my Bitcoin only 10 to 15% off the high. That's pretty good. As opposed to, 30. And the best part about de-risking here, whether it be by selling spot or by shorting, is that you have a clear level to where to get back involved. So it gives you more optionality. Because with holding, right, if you hold, at what point was holding a wrong idea? It goes here. Was it wrong? What if it goes like this? Is it still wrong? Okay, now it was clearly wrong, right? Do you cut at any of these points? How are you determining? Oh, well, maybe it was going to bounce here, and it bounces a little, and then it just nukes through. Whereas, if you de-risk here, the worst case scenario is that price goes up. That's great, right? Because then you've de-risked, price trades higher. Guess what? You can now get back in. You can rebuy. So yes, you missed out. You sold spot at 92 and you had to buy back at 96. But now the good news is if we get above here, we're likely going to make an all-time high. So we're going much higher. Yeah, you missed out on a little bit of the move, but you completely mitigated the risk of this thing being a lower high. So that's what I mean by probabilistic thinking. And this is how you need to think of every single trade setup. When price comes to my area of interest, what are the potential scenarios that can happen? And then lay out your decision making exactly like this. Okay, well, if I do this, this happens. If I do this, then that happens. It's if this, then that. And so I really like the idea of de-risking here because it gives me that optionality. If I'm wrong and we go higher, that means the bull run is not over and we're going to make a new all-time high. That's awesome. That means that there's going to be long opportunities. I can buy back my spot because I still think we go higher. All sorts of doors open up, and I've only given up a small percentage of the move just to protect myself. While as just hoping that this breaks, you run the risk of it not breaking, and now you had a chance to sell at 90, and all of a sudden we're back in the 70s, and you're like, what the fuck? OPM says, so we're probably going up or down. Exactly. That entire rant summarized so succinctly. Okay, does that make sense? So yes, whoever asked that question, there is my answer. So 150K end of year, cut it off. Exactly. All right. So Bitcoin, I've laid out my game plan for you guys. I think that it's pretty straightforward here. I think if we can get some sort of pullback, I might be interested in longs. Let's check out what IMG's throwing off here. So it's marked out that 12-hour order block's the same thing I'm looking at. See if we get it. Yeah. So that's Bitcoin. So Ethereum and a bunch of alts, they all look very similar. And I've been talking about this for a while now, right? So we've got big sweeps across the board, potentially in the making. Ethereum running this low here, below 1450. And we've got 2 weeks left in the month. So it's still a little early to tell. But we've put in a pretty nice weekly sweep. And a lot of these coins, Solana's the same. Pretty big weekly. This didn't get the sweep, sorry, but it's got a very nice looking monthly candle into monthly demand. So the good news, right? If Bitcoin's able to float up towards 93K, I think Ethereum can trade up towards here. Maybe even higher, right? Maybe even towards 2K. And same with Solana. Like if Bitcoin can continue to go up and go up another $5,000 to $10,000, I think we could see Solana trading into the 170s, 160s, 170s up into here. So that's good news, and that means that there's going to be opportunity. But if you go watch, our stream from not even that long ago, Solana was trading at $94, and I was like, hey, if this thing, if Bitcoin daily sweeps, I bet you we see a lot of stuff pump, and it's going to be a fun couple of days, and that's exactly what we had across the board. So Sol is similar to Bitcoin in that if Bitcoin can give us a little bit of a pullback towards 80, I would love to bid Sol here. This is Monday's low, probably. Monday's high, I think. I don't know. I might have marked those incorrectly. Close enough. But same setup here, right? So if we get that pullback on Bitcoin, guess what? There's your pullback on Sol. Monthly open just above as well. And Ethereum is very likely the exact same. Ethereum's obviously the weakest of all the coins. So if you look at Sol ETH, this thing is up, pushing towards the highs again, but it's rejected from this area multiple times. So you wonder if it's going to reject again. And then ETH BTC is just effectively the inverse chart of Bitcoin dominance. And this thing just doesn't seem to have a bottom yet. It's like I just got to keep drawing new levels that it takes out and just say, okay, well, which one of these levels is going to be the one, that it finally reverses from? But it's got a 1 handle. That's pretty crazy. Okay, now the bearish scenario is if Bitcoin rejects and Ethereum. So let's assume the bearish scenario, right, where this is a lower high here and this rejects. Then I'm looking at ETH and I don't see how this thing doesn't trade down to like 1,000. Seriously. And how Sol doesn't trade down to, like sub 80. So the reason I'm okay punting on longs this week, and this is what I posted about on Twitter, right, is because we had the weekly sweep, we've got a clear invalidation. I know quite simply where we had boom, right, swept and reclaim. Any pullback here, which is what we're at right now, I'm comfortable. I'm actually going to redraw this just slightly. Sorry. So boom, boom, and then we're here right now. Okay, so we've had an MSB and we've run the low. So now any pullback that is contained within this price leg, I'm willing to bid on and to try and find a setup because my thesis is quite simple. The fact that we took out this old low and we've now broken the high that generated that low, that leads me to believe that that was the stop run. Therefore, this can be my invalidation on my longs, and I can look on the low time frames for a setup to form within this price leg for another leg higher. And we've seen this happen a fucking zillion times in crypto. I talk about this exact setup everywhere. This is not new, right? But that's the thesis. So even though we have the downward trend line, we have the potential that this was all a Sailor-fueled pump, because my invalidation and my risk is therefore defined, I'm willing to take the shot. Because if I'm white, I almost said, if I'm right, the risk reward is asymmetrically in my favor. I know where I'm wrong, and I know how high we could potentially go. I'm willing to take that bet every single time. Because when I win bigger than I lose. Right? So this is what's happening on every fucking coin right now. Now, what you want to do is you want to look at coins and say, okay, well, do I really want to long ETH? ETH is underperforming everything. Maybe I'm better off longing Sol. Maybe I wait for ETH to turn around a little bit. Maybe ETH's going to start leading. All of that, determining what the fastest horse is, what's higher beta, that's up to you to figure out. I'm not going to do all the work for you. Can't just do all of your homework. Okay? But that is the logic here, okay? I'm willing to attempt longs on this pullback here because, hey, we ran out the lows. We broke the structure. Here's my price leg. If we pull back in here, I'm willing to punt along because my validation is clear. And it doesn't necessarily mean that I'm going to long this and put my stop here. You could, but I could also say, okay, well, within this leg, we've got a nice level here, let's say. Okay, I'm going to look on the low time frame in here for a low time frame setup that's going to give me a tighter risk reward, and I'll have the high time frame confluence to make that setup more probabilistic, more likely to play out. You see what I'm doing? I'm giving you all the puzzle pieces, and then I'm fucking taking your hands and I'm fucking forcing you to complete the goddamn puzzle. It's unbelievable, the stuff I'm just giving away here. It's crazy. I wish there was someone like me doing streams like this fucking 8 years ago when I got on this website. It would have been very fucking helpful. Okay, so let's talk, let's go check Twitch here real quick. Sorry, guys, I didn't want to forget about you. Does Mr. Main see our chats? I would like to donate. I don't know if I even have donations turned on. Breaking the structures at 89K. We haven't break any structure, and you haven't fucking learned any proper grammar. That's relative, bro. Structure is relative to time frame. So he's saying that this is structure here. Sure, on the 3-day chart, that is structure. But on the 12-hour chart and the daily chart, this is actually structure. This is the swing high on the daily. Not this. This is a separate one. On the weekly, on the 3-day, sure, you're correct. But structure is relative to time frame. And if this is going to be... So if you have a high here on the 3-day, boom. Okay, we've now broken structure on the 3-day chart. Well, you know what happened down here? We broke structure on the 1 minute, the 5 minute, the hourly, the 4 hour, the 12 hour, the daily. So before we broke structure on the 3-day, we broke structure on lower time frames. And that's what I'm referring to here. Let's go, Big Bear. Appreciate you, bro. We sweeping previous week high and going to fix the poor lows. We could be. So he's effectively saying, okay, we've got last week's high right here. And we've got some pretty sketchy lows right here. So what would be the setup for this? For, what's this guy's name? Jinx. Right? Well, if we come up here and then deviate back within and then maybe break a low, you've probably got a pretty good short setup here with a clear target. You could absolutely take that, right? So this is last week's high. You can treat this just like a Monday's range trade. This is last week's low. Same fucking thing. Works the exact same way. You did. You followed ICT as many of us did. If you think ICT explains things as in plain English and as concisely as I do, you're on crack. ICT made you watch fucking 300 hours of videos to explain a very simple concept. It was like infuriating. Whatever happened to BTC Spartan? I have no idea who that is. Do you mean Degen Spartan? Because he retired off of Twitter, I'm pretty sure. Monday range question for you. When Monday is a stat holiday, are you still charting? Yeah, I mean, you can do any Monday or you can use Tuesday. It doesn't really make a difference. The Monday's range specifically, right, has to do with the fact that I think the lower high of the week sets early in the week. I don't worrying about whether it's a holiday. I don't think it's as relevant for Bitcoin. But if the markets are closed, yeah, you might not get as big of a range on Monday. Like this week's Monday's range is really tiny. right? So if you get, like, it's not going to be as actionable as a huge range, Monday's range. Aquarius says, if we turn around here, it's to make another low. The trend is still bearish on the daily. So everything that I just explained answers what he just said. I just don't think he was listening. My entire thesis is that the lower time frame changes first. So this is exactly where a lower high would form. It's exactly what I said, but I'm willing to take a stab based on the fact that the lower time frames are possibly showing signs of reversal. You're looking for a double bottom. Maybe it will hold 76K, but here you should look for a short at 86K. Here's a great idea, bro. Short it then, dude. I don't care. My entire point is that if this is going to be the reversal, the low should already be in. So if we get a pullback to here and we bounce, that means I was right. If we come back here and we fail to go up, that means I'm looking for lower. Again, it's probabilistic thinking. If you want to take a short above last week's high, same as the other guy, go for it, dude. Everyone's got their own setup. There's many ways to skin the cat. But before the daily trend becomes bullish, the H4 trend will become bullish. Right? All right. How does ES look? I think ES can go up more. I drew this out and I posted it on Twitter. But like this chart's still quite busted. There's also a lot of money that's moved out of equities. Things are extremely de-risked. So there's a chance that like this thing can come up, but then still make lower lows. Like I'm not sure I'm fully convinced that the low is in for ES and we're going back to new all-time highs. Maybe we took out a bunch of lows, but this bounce, we had talked about this. I'm like, watch all these lows. It ran them all. It's now bouncing. We basically came and retested demand on the button there. But I wouldn't be surprised if this gets capped out into a lower high. And that's my biggest concern for crypto as well, right? Is like, if this rallies up to here and Bitcoin goes to 93, 94K, and then this rolls, like what's to say that we don't just form a lower high and fucking nuke as well? Thanks, NW. Appreciate you, bro. And we also have the sell in May, correct, BG. Well, sell in May and walk away, right? Let's see how accurate sell in May and walk away has been for crypto. Let's just look out of curiosity. So historically, we'll just go put a line on all the Mays here. Probably would have been a pretty decent sell opportunity, right? Not so much there. Decent. Definitely decent. So, what do we think? Sell in May, walk away. Smart. Pretty smart. Not so smart. It did pull back, but I mean, we kind of were like just beginning the bull run here. Pretty smart. Coming into May here. What's it going to be? Right? So I'm preparing for, I would much rather assume the worst and be prepared for it than to just hope for the best. And I know that that's kind of counterintuitive to how I try and live life by being positive and stuff. But I would much rather give myself the shot to get out at a great price if we get it, and then I could potentially rebuy down here, right? Because if you don't de-risk here and we do come back down here, it's going to be fucking hard to hold. Altcoins are going to die if we come do this. And maybe we don't even go up that high. Maybe we just go like this. Like we could, again, to the start of the video, what I said, this could be a sailor-fueled pump here. And this thing could 100%, like we could just literally like do one of these this week. Just a little pop up and then we nuke down to here. It was all sailor. And I want to be a buyer here, right? I definitely want to be a buyer here. But that's going to suck. Like if we come down here, altcoins are going to get decimated, bro. Like I know some of these coins look good. Like Fartcoin looks amazing. I know everyone wants to talk about Fartcoin, right? Fartcoin looks amazing. It pumps so much. But like this thing is still down. Flashbang. This thing is still down a lot. Okay, it's still down over 65%. At one point, it was down 92%. This could just be putting in a massive fucking like complacency shoulder here. Not even, I don't even know if I'd call it a complacency shoulder, but like none of this stuff has to go back up. It doesn't have to be the bottom yet, right? What would be the most bullish scenario for alts, as crazy as this is that Bitcoin does this. So it comes down, it makes a lower high, it makes one more low into the 70s, and then it goes back to all-time high. And when Bitcoin makes a lower low, some of these altcoins make a higher low. That would be the most bullish situation that I think would probably lead to the alt season everyone wants and the Bitcoin dominance reversal that everyone wants, is Bitcoin nuking, making a lower low, but a bunch of alts making higher lows. Aquarius, for ES, you are right. One more up, then a new low, then a new all-time high. Okay, bro. This guy speaks with a lot of certainty. You must be so rich, bro. You just seem to know everything. It's crazy. Not smart. Pullback already done. Depends on Trump. Macro going to change. Maybe. How are you not the most watched in the crypto category? Because I'm mainly streaming on YouTube. So I've got like over 600 people watching on YouTube. And I only stream on Twitch secondarily. I don't know if 600 would make me in the top of the category. But I do, most of my audience is on YouTube. And I'm also not, I don't fucking tell people. I also don't fucking tell people sometimes what they want to hear, like that their coins are going to all go up and that you're going to be okay and you're going to make a bunch of money and you're going to get super rich. Because for the most part, that's not true. Most people are going to lose money and lose their mind a little bit and probably lose their fucking ass trying to trade. It's not for everyone. For most people, you're going to get fucking smoked. You're going to lose a bunch of money. A lot of people have no idea what they're doing. They're completely gambling. They're risking their livelihoods based on what random people on the internet say, based on stuff they've done no research on. They're taking way too much risk, and they're doing it because it's, some person told them that, hey, we all gonna make it, bro. Actually, no. The peak of Everest is littered with dead bodies, my friend. And crypto and trading and the hike to success and riches is littered with dead fucking bodies, bros. I'm sorry. The breakout hats are coming for sale very soon, I promise you. Hey, Maine, I threw 6 figures into Pengu. Give me financial advice is basically what this guy's saying. Well, let's take a look and see if you made a good decision. I mean, hopefully you got a good entry. This to me becomes like one of those charts that's like super easy to trade, right? Because it's just down only. But you've got just levels, right? Like, so to me, if this rejects here, if we reject and make another low, you now have a new level, right? And it's just got to reclaim these kind of levels. So it's trying right now. And if it can get back above this old low, it can probably trade up towards, here. And then if it can get back above here, maybe it goes up to here. But for like, it's way easier. Like, how do you know when this stops? It's hard. It's way easier for maybe it makes one more down, right? And then it reclaims. That becomes a much more easy and actionable setup. Oh, I bought 2 months ago and I haven't looked at the chart until now. Well, I'm sorry for the bad news. But if you bought 2 months ago, you might be, that 6 figures might be 50K now. But like for something like this, it's just way easier to allow the reclaim. Like this is exactly how Bitcoin bottomed. I mean, not exactly, but trying to determine when these sell-offs were going to end, hard. But once we reclaim that old floor, this becomes a much more simple setup because you have your risk defined. Right? So otherwise, what are you doing? Well, you can look at like the velocity that it's selling off on. Is the selling getting less aggressive? Yeah, right? Straight down, slightly less steep. So if I were to pull up the RSI or some sort of fucking stochastic or whatever, this would show that momentum is waning on the sell side and that maybe it is priming for a reversal, but you can also just look at the chart. You don't need any of that stuff. The problem with that, right, is you look at something like ETH BTC and you could say, okay, well, the selling was kind of slowing down, right? It was like, okay, it was like straight down and then really aggressive. Now, like this is like this is becoming a parabola in the other direction. So eventually this parabola is going to break, but that's how I try and, you know, pick up those fucking lows, right? Is I try and determine when the momentum is waning, and you can do that by looking at the chart. Is the selling slowing down? And then is it reclaiming previous price floors? And if that's what's happening, then it might be a good time to get involved. What up, Face? How you doing, my G? Crypto Face, the OG YouTube streamer, the one and only, the man slanging 8-figure positions on the daily. Historically, Bitcoin dominance hits 70% before alt season. Well, we're getting close. We are sure getting close, aren't we? Only another 10% to go. Hey, man, how's your tip jar for all these free alpha? The tip jar's empty. There's a fucking tumbleweed fucking rolling through there. Band squeezing on the BTC 1 hour. Yeah, I mean, this has been a pretty compressed day. Like, do you need Bollinger Bands to be able to look at this and just say, probably get a move soon? Probably get a move soon. Okay, I've seen like 30 people ask about CRV, which we've talked about like a dozen times, right? CRV, I said I like the setup. I like the setup on CRV. Still dependent on fucking everything else that's going on, right? With regard to the market. But in terms of like big breakdown, reclaim, huge move up, retest, I like the setup. And if you look at the monthly, right, like the monthly is super clean on this. So I love these kind of setups on the monthly. I talked about Coinbase. This is the exact setup I took on Coinbase. This is the exact setup that I took on Link. Coinbase. Right? This is the exact same setup. Look, there's your low. Deviation, big move up, reclaim, and retest, right? It's like your AMD, your Power 3, whatever you want to call it, your circle jerk, fucking 9,000, Glock a billion, whatever you want to call it, it's all the same. It works all the same. Who remembers this trade from like well over a year ago that we took on Link? Way down here. So if you go on my Twitter back 2 years ago, actually, I talked about this exact setup on Link. I said, okay, we just put in our low, right? Below there, we had that. Move up. The retest was the long. So CRV, I like the high time frame setup. Trading meme coins is the best way to go bankrupt. And then he says no setup works for altcoins. They're all just garbage money grabs. Okay, this guy's like a fucking, who pissed in your Cheerios this morning, dude? Cheer the fuck up. Stop being such a Debbie Downer. No one wants to hear you bitch and moan. Altcoins actually, in my opinion, work really well with TA because the participants are even less sophisticated. So it's even more pure PvP, where basic things like trend lines, Adam and Eves, over and unders, head and shoulders work actually more often than not, because you're not competing against HFTs and super smart, sharp money that exists in the traditional markets or exists in something that's grown significantly like Bitcoin. So I disagree. I do think I agree with you 100% that all altcoins are pretty much destined for zero, especially versus Bitcoin. But it doesn't mean that you can't make a ton of money trading them. So just having the attitude of like all altcoins are money grabs, nothing works on them is factually incorrect. And it's just a stupid way to go about it, because sometimes the highest performing coins of each cycle, up and down, are altcoins. You shouldn't buy any altcoin before ETH hits 800. It's not a bad idea. Like if Bitcoin is going to roll over, and I already said this, right? If Bitcoin's going to roll over, I don't see how ETH doesn't go and take out these lows. And then that's probably going to offer a pretty good buying opportunity. I don't know how you don't at least start looking at Ethereum sub $1,000 all the way back to the beginning of the bull market lows. You see John Bollinger call a weekly BTC bottom the other day. I pray and hope to God that he is correct. Main, my bro, can you check out Gert? Well, the last time I charted this thing was fucking at the top. That's not good. Wonder what I was saying back here. Let's see. Well, as you can see, look at this. I said if it does this and then retest, it's going to go up. And then if it gets above here, it'll go higher. Look at that. Reclaim. It went up. Bang. Never made it above. Bang. Bang. What could I say? Even my clout seeds from fucking 4 years ago are sprouting and giving us a bountiful harvest of clout. Unbelievable. Okay. Anyways. So, I assume this is the coin you're talking about. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, I think there's better coins. Like, so look at this versus CRV, which I think is a good facsimile. What I like about CRV versus this, right, is the structure. So both are absolutely battered, right? Like these are both down 90% from high to low, right? But what I like about CRV that Gert hasn't done yet is it has this little deviation here, because that gives you that risk. It gives you the risk. It defines your risk. You don't quite have that on GRT yet. But you know, maybe you could argue that this is it. Like, there's your floor and there's your little deviation. But we're back below it now. So I think, you know, if it gets above here, it becomes interesting. Otherwise, I think it takes out that low. Main Clout McLean. What's up, Mark? How you doing, G? What up, Chris? XMR. Sure, I am a scholar and a gentleman. Thank you for noticing. There's got to be a better one that I can look at with more history. Interesting. So I like Monero in that it's like the true privacy coin, right? Like there's like diehard Monero support because it's like this is true decentralization. This is like the true privacy coin. You know, but if you bought this thing at the lows of the cycle, like you underperformed everything. Like, did this outperform even ETH? Like barely, dude. It's so like this thing has underperformed Ethereum It's outperforming ETH over the last few months. The last 4 or 5 months, it's outperforming ETH. But prior to that, it was underperforming against Ethereum. So that's not a good sign in terms of like what should you be holding, what you should be buying. I mean, this thing was underperforming Ethereum, which is hard to do. Almost everything outperformed Ethereum. But I do believe in, I think it's always good to have some Monero. I think it's a good one that you can kind of hold because there's that, you know, like this is truly anonymous. And then the chart, like it's starting to kind of look interesting. It's kind of starting to look interesting. I think you've got, you know, potential here if it can, you know, hold the structure here. So it's breaking out of this kind of range, right? You got a very clear low, high, and it's just been ping-ponging, and now it's above it. So if it can hold this, great. But if it gets back within here, it probably goes down to the lows. So that's what I'd be concerned about. Bro, altcoins aren't tradable anymore. If you want to buy for investment, fine, but trading altcoins, you always end up losing. That's fucking retarded. Buying altcoins for an investment is pretty stupid because most of them go down for the majority of their lifetime, and almost all of them underperform Bitcoin over a long enough time horizon. Trading them is almost exclusively the only thing that you should do. Is you should try to rotate into altcoins when they outperform Bitcoin and then try and rotate back into Bitcoin. That's the best use case for alts that there is. Anyways, I'm not going to answer your comments anymore because you just seem to be like a fucking negative Nancy. And what we like in this chat is positive Pauls. Okay? We don't like Debbie Downers, negative Nancys. We like positive Pauls. Okay? We like good time Garys. And you just seem to be like someone who wakes up every morning and just hates your life. You just seem miserable, bro. Like, fucking A, dude. Have a fucking chill pill. Just relax. Be happy. Does my wife know the amount of alpha that I drop online? I hope she shows you appreciation. My wife is the greatest, bro. I highly recommend you get one. Don't listen to all the incel doomers and all the red pill fucking losers who are like, oh, women is... Dude, get yourself a good-ass woman, bro. That being said, okay, be very smart about who you decide to make your partner because, one, this person is going to be half of your child genetically, so you don't want to marry some dummy. And you need to... Physical attraction has to be there, but you need to be able to fucking... vibe with this person, bro. You're going to be spending a lot of time together. My best piece of advice is if you're getting serious with a girl, move in with her and see if you can connect and vibe. You learn a lot about a person when you live with them. And having a really, really strong partner is unbelievable. It's just unbelievable, bro. It makes my life so much better. We complement each other perfectly. She's one of my best friends, and it's awesome. Anyways, don't let her see this. Don't let anyone see this. They're going to think I'm gay. Why? Because chicks like penises, and penises are gay. Therefore, if you like women, you're gay. So don't let anyone see that, but for real. Good time, Gary. Yeah, you are, buddy. Nick Fuentes says it's not fun to have a wife. I mean, what would he know? Isn't his best friend like a fucking rabbit? You got to keep them in line sometimes. Yeah, nothing a little fucking won't fix, you know? Straighten things out. Here's the real fucking G shit, bro. If you hold your shit down, if you provide, if you do what you got to do, whether that's whatever it is, whatever your job is if you handle your business and you're fucking piping her correctly, you don't have to keep them in line at all. They'll do that all by themselves. So if your girl's acting out, you might need to look inwardly and see if you're not doing something correctly. Look at WIF. WIF has been, I think, a disappointment. No? Like, are there, like, what the fuck? Where are the Sphere funds, dude? Where's the money for the Sphere, Ansem? I'm just kidding. But WIF has been, I think, a disappointment. It's lost its kind of attention. It's lost its je ne sais quoi. So if you look at WIF here, from the April 25th low to this high, it went up 58%. I'm not saying that's not nothing, right? But Solana went up 43. So you're telling me that the premier altcoin on Solana barely outperformed Solana itself? Other coins did a lot better, right, during that same time period. So if you go look at PopCat went up almost 3 times what WIF did. Fartcoin, I think, similarly in the same time period, went up well over, there you go, 130%. So I think WIF underperformed relative to a lot of people's expectations. I mean, it outperformed Solana, but not by that much. There's a lot of other coins that went up way more. Oh, he just timed out fucking... You don't have to time him out, bro. I'm just going to ignore him. He just seems very upset. I don't know. Something must be going on at home, and he's just coming out here and he's venting, and that's okay. Relationship main. Here's something that the 21-year-old Miami influencers can't give you, okay? Every day I go on YouTube. Every single day I go on YouTube. And I'm a 20-year-old millionaire in Miami, and this is the day of my life. And then they go get in their Lamborghini, and then they go for dinner at Poppy Steak, and then they go meet up with their other buddy, and they go to Timepiece Trading, and they go buy a Richard Mille. And what do? They either trade meme coins, aka they're probably fucking scamming you, copy trading, scamming, farming, or fucking launching rugs. 2, they do copywriting. I don't know what the fuck that is or how it makes any money. 3, they do e-commerce. Again, I have no idea. Or they run like an OnlyFans agency. Those are like the 4 job titles of these 20-something-year-old influencers in Miami. And they all do the same thing. And I'm not even trying to shit on them, because at 20, I was not making any money. At 20, I was fucking chilling, drinking beer, trying to get laid. So good for these guys for going out there and making money. But it's every time I go on YouTube, there's a new one of them. I saw a new one today, and it's like, when you and your boys finally make it, life as a 20-year-old millionaire. I'm like, fucking made it at 20 is crazy. You still got fucking 75 years of life left. But what I can tell you before I went off on this fucking rant here is, I got a little thing called life experience. I've been through a couple ups and downs. You know, I've done some stuff so that I can impart that wisdom upon you, upon your fucking cabeza. I impart it on your cabeza. That's fucking Spanish for your head. What up, FGG18 Chrome? How you doing, G? No, dude. Orangey's the homie. I met up with Orangey. Orangey's the homie. What he's done with Potion is incredible. Again, I'm not shitting on these guys. I'm jealous that they have this much desire and awareness of money at such a young age, because I did not. I did not start making money until I was like 27. Like any serious money until I was like 26, 27. That's when I started making money. And I wasn't making millions back then either. These guys are doing it at 20. So where are they going to be at 30? But what they don't have that I have is a huge, ginormous, thick, veiny, throbbing neck. And yeah. Mink, I tried gold. I would love to. How do I say neck? I think it's cuyo. Someone told me cuyo. Yo soy el cuyo gigante. Yeah, so gold, right? We've talked about this countless times. Gold is doing what we all wanted Bitcoin to do. This is what we wanted Bitcoin to do. We wanted Trump to come in office, and we wanted the recession to occur, the bear market in equities, and we wanted BTC to be digital gold. And it's just not what's happened. It's not what's happened at all. And it's sad, but I think people keep pushing this narrative, but there's been no evidence yet. Okay, there's been no evidence. This is Bitcoin versus gold. Now, don't get it twisted. Before Peter Schiff comes in here and does his little money dance, right? This is the gold versus Bitcoin chart. Okay? Look how far I gotta zoom out. So, all right, Peter Schiff, you calm your fucking ass down. Look how far we gotta zoom out here. So everyone's like, oh, Peter Schiff is fucking sitting there and he's fucking stroking his shit. Okay? He's got lotion with gold flakes in it, and he is just sitting there fucking stroking his shit. Okay? He's got gold flake lotion on his dick right now, and he's just stroking his shit. And he's fucking horny as fuck, man. He's a freak for real, okay? And he's just stroking it. And why is he doing that? Why is he stroking his shit so aggressively? Because he's going, look at this, Bitcoin nerds. Look at this. He's saying gold is shit-kicking Bitcoin right now. He's like, gold is shit-kicking Bitcoin. So he's got this chart up, and he's just fucking stroking the shit out of his shit. He's just waxing poetic, okay? He's fucking choking the chicken. Right? He's tugging the horn. He's playing pocket pool. All right? And he's posting about it. He's gloating. He's on Twitter, and he's like gold member. I love gold. Right? And he's bragging because he's outperforming us for 4 months. But when you zoom out, you know that Thanos fucking clip? Like fucking back to reality, motherfucker. Like, okay? When you zoom out, this is what he's fucking jisming in his fucking pantaloons over. Is this. Because since inception, basically, Bitcoin has absolutely annihilated gold. Annihilated gold. Okay? And yes, gold is having its moment right now because this moment is what gold is for. It's the hedge against inflation. It's the flight to safety. It's the risk-off thing that you want to be holding while there's turmoil and uncertainty in the risk-on markets. But Bitcoin has been shitting on gold for the better part of 2 decades. Right? For like 14 years. So, yeah, he's stroking his shit right now, and he's winning the battle. But we won it's 99-1 right now, the score. You know what I mean? So, unfortunately, we're shit kicking gold. But unfortunately, this is what gold has been doing lately, and this is what we want Bitcoin to do. But in reality, Bitcoin is much more like a tech stock. It's like the NASDAQ. It's like the QQQ. It's like the S&P 500. It's like equities. Than it is digital gold. We've had no evidence that Bitcoin is going to act as digital gold. In fact, Bitcoin is just becoming even more and more correlated with things like the NASDAQ. Now, what could that mean? It could mean one day we'll have less volatility. Like fucking like the NASDAQ. We're not going to have 80% drawdowns, but maybe that also caps our upside. But for now, there's no signs that Bitcoin is digital gold. There's been zero evidence, and people keep calling for it. They do it every time. I'd much rather see the evidence and then hop on that train than just hop on that train and hope that, I'm going to be right. So gold is continuing to push higher. I think largely this move is starting to get parabolic, and I think rather than trying to call top on this, I think that's very difficult to do. I would much rather try and see when this bottoms. So if the dollar does this, that's probably a temporary top for gold. So it's really hard to call top on something that's in price discovery, right? But if the dollar reclaims that range low, there's a good chance that gold is going to pull back. So if you're trying to trade gold and you want to say, hey, I want to catch the short when this thing eventually rolls over, because it is going to pull back at some point, it's way easier to do that by looking at the dollar. Because right now, like, what are you even looking at here? At what point, how do you get in a trade here on the short side? It's hard. So I'd wait and see what the dollar does. I do think that this is due for some kind of correction, but I'm not trying to call top on this thing. I would look at the dollar. Wait for the dollar. I was going to say elder harassment. I'm 39 years old. I'm like half Peter Schiff's age. What is a bounty on WAP? I'll do it. I'll send this to the editor right now. What can we make bounties of? It's been unbelievably bullish. It's been very difficult to try and call top on this thing. I just don't think it's, I think it's a fool's errand. Remember, if you're not lazy, gold is free in nature anywhere on the planet. Bro. What you know about gold? Huh? What you know about gold? What you know about fucking... What you know about the gold coins? Your boy's packing. Your boy's got the gold on lock. So yeah, guys. What else do you want to talk about? You any questions? How do you want to spend the last little bit of the stream here before I turn it off and I go enjoy my life? You know, do you guys know Tim Dillon? He's like a podcaster, comedian. I feel like my streams are kind of like his podcast. Obviously, he's hilarious, but he just goes off and he just talks about world events and then he just goes on crazy tangents. And I feel like I have that same skill where I can just fucking yap with the best of them. How's the golf game? Dude, fucking great question. I played out of my mind. Okay, I played out of my mind. I was absolutely flushing my driver, puring my irons. It was unbelievable, but my putter let me down. I fucking was just smoking them straight, fucking where I wanted to go. Getting on the green on par fours and two. Like, I had multiple birdie chances, but then I had 2 or 3 putt. It was just so painful. It was so painful, boys. Ohm, you want to look at Ohm? I mean, someone's going to fucking lose their ass trying to buy the dip on this thing. Like, in hindsight, like, something was going on here, right? Like, look at Bitcoin from, you know, January to now. This is the top on Bitcoin. And, like, this thing just went straight up. So, it's kind of depressing that for a coin to outperform in crypto, it's because of fraud. It's not because of the coin is doing something cool or revolutionary or it's changing the game. It's just fucking straight up fraud was occurring. It's kind of sad. Am I Rory McIlroy's cousin? No, he's much too short. He's a little manlet. What's up, Ms. Takes? How you doing, G? Thoughts on the Hype Eco? I don't really have any. I think Hype's cool. I like Hype. I think it's a good coin to probably own when you think the market's bottomed. I do think this is probably a good one to have a bag. All right, we've talked about these levels for time now. So, right, like to me, if the market remains bullish, I can see this coming to 19. But if we roll over, then this probably does a third drive down, and then you get a nice maybe mean reversion. Like that's a 2x there kind of thing, right? So if it can hold, if the market remains bullish, if Bitcoin can float up into the 90s, then yeah, this can go up to 20 again. Hype is similar to Fartcoin in that they have like free marketing to stay in the mind share of Twitter. Right? Like anytime Fartcoin goes up, people are posting about Fartcoin nonstop. Same with Hype. Anytime Hype does anything good, you have a bunch of big accounts posting about Hype all the time. You have a bunch of people who made a ton of money trading or catching the Hype airdrop. And so they will bull post it for the rest of their lives, right? Do I have a spot ENA? No. What if Trader Main hooked up with Matt Rife for some trader comedy? I don't think Matt Rife wants anything to do with fucking crypto people. But hey, if you know him, I'm more than happy to fucking chat him. How about Tesla? Oh, this guy wants to see Euro GBP. Now we're fucking talking, bro. Now we're talking. Let's get something fucking exciting on the charts here. Let's look at the euro versus the Great British Pound. Okay? And let me tell you, this chart looks bullish to me. Took out that old low. This is the yearly chart. I know it sounds crazy. This guy's insane. He's looking at the yearly chart. I'm not patient enough for the yearly chart. But look at every time it has come down and tested that yearly breaker. It's absolutely rip face. So, so long as it's holding above this yearly breaker here, we just broke this downtrend line. I think that this can continue higher. I used to do an entire stream that was purely on gold and silver. I called it Metals with Maine, and they were really good. It's just no one watched because no one really cares about those. Your boy Rookie is dumping Fartcoin on everyone. I can tell you for a fact that Rookie has sold none of his Fartcoin and he sold none of his PopCat. He moved the wallets he was holding stuff in because he was tired of people fucking tracking all his shit. But yeah, he has held all of that. But typical Twitter and YouTube and everything, everyone just pocket watches everyone else. Dude, look at that. Like, those look on chain posts are so fucking gay. This guy fucking sold this for a loss. It's like, dude, the reason so many of you are broke is because you're so hyper fixated on everyone else's pockets when the only ones you should be worried about are your own. Everyone on Twitter is so concerned with, oh, this guy did this. This guy did this. This guy's dumping. This guy's scamming. Like, welcome to the world. People lie, cheat, steal. They scam. They grift. Crypto is no different. We're in fact probably worse than most other industries for insidious behavior. There's a bunch of pieces of shit online, and people have made it their entire personality to point out other people doing shitty stuff and watching, oh, how's this guy make money? This guy did this. This guy did this. When what you should be doing is worrying about making yourself some money. Whether or not you agree with what other people are doing someone's breaking the law, if they're doing something shady, how does that affect you in the slightest in your ability to cover your own fucking bills and make your own fucking money? There's shitty people. People are going to take advantage of you. They're going to take advantage of each other. And you could spend all day and you could build a big Twitter account. There's several accounts that have got a lot of followers and all they do is fucking point at other people. Say, this guy's rug pulled this guy's this. I'm not even talking about Zach XBT because at least he monetized what he does, right? But some people do it for free. They're trying to be Zach XBT for free and they're so worried about that they're not even focusing on making themselves money. Like, get your own money up, dude. Gun to head, top 5 traders. That's so easy. Number 5, Trader Main. Number 4, Trader Main. Number 3, Trader Main. Number 2, Trader Main. And number 1, this might be a surprise, Trader Main, because I spit hot fire. It's all BS. YouTube only promotes channels that rug people. I mean, yeah, bro. I mean, lots of people rug each other. And yeah, lots of YouTube accounts are dog shit and they're terrible. And then you got accounts like mine that should have 10 million followers by now and they don't because I'm just too goddamn honest. It is what it is, man. It is what it is. Am I drunk again? This is me sober, bro. You could not handle me drunk. I promise you. Mean 100x follows you on Twitter. How does that make you feel? What the fuck's that even mean? KSI not in the top 5. What about Deji? It was tough leaving Deji off there. Yeah, people, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. You're 100% right, Austin. People just want to bitch and moan, and they want confirmation bias from other people. Look, these guys all rug, like the Argentina coin situation, Libra, crazy, insane. What even happened? Where's Hayden Davis? Where's the money? Who's going to jail? The president of Argentina is still in charge. They rugged 100 mil. Terrible. Terrible. But there's people who spent 4 weeks talking about it and calling out other people, and it's just like, bro, at what point do you just focus on your own shit, man? I'm not saying you can't do that. And maybe those people who dedicate their lives to doing that shit, maybe they're making money one way or another. I don't know. But a lot of people are throwing stones and they live in glass houses. I'll say that. But for the majority of you, like if you're here to make money, bitching and moaning online about what other people are doing to make money, this guy dumped, this guy sold, it doesn't help you whatsoever. It's not helping you. It's not. XRP. It's just the key level, right? We've done this, I mean, every stream, right? $2 is the key level. I told you guys from way back here. So came below $2. Where to go? It tagged demand here. Bounce back up, but you know, I'm not convinced. This is the same as every other alt. You've got the SFP here potential. So maybe that this can get some relief. Maybe this can trade back towards 240, 260. But if Bitcoin rolls over, this probably makes a much deeper low, you know, and this is a decently thin move. What's my handicap? I would say a little bit of autism, maybe just a tinge of OCD. Those are probably my main two. Mr. Frog, top 5 funniest ninjas. I do think his account is very funny. I've been watching Main since the Incilio days. That's a long time. Main, how much can you wipe your b-hole before it's considered playing with yourself? I'd say three. I'd say once you start getting like 3 to 5 wipes is the sweet spot. Anything beyond there, what are you doing? But like sometimes you just take one of those shits and it's just like you're rubbing a felt pen back there and it's just fucking just never ends. How much can I overhead press? I have no idea what my one rep max is. I can do 135 for reps, but I don't know what my 1 rep max is. Yeah, the infinite poop glitch is super fucking annoying, dude. It's just like it's never fucking ending. Autism is my strength, I would say. Yeah, they put the money back in the chart. Exactly. I am absolutely ready for playoff season. This is the best time of year in Canada, dude, because we've got hockey playoffs, we've got NBA playoffs, okay? And the weather's getting nice, so I can be sitting on a patio, crushing brews, and watching sports. I'm going to be sports betting like an absolute demon, probably losing all of my money, but it's going to be so fun. What's up from Malaysia? Let me try and pronounce this name. I'm just going to show you guys this so you can see here what I'm working with. So this is like the Anbu in Naruto, right? You're like the Anbu. You're part of this super secret fucking ninja group. You're the Anbu, the most elite shinobi. Anbu Shelvin. Muth Anagopal. Anbu Shelvin, Muth Anagopal. I think that's pretty close. Is that close? Or is it Ambushlevin, Muthanagopal? Am I close? Just threw a perfect game in MLB The Show 25. That's incredible, Will. I'm happy for you, my G. Can I do a door giveaway? I don't even know what that means. You were wiped so much the paper looks Japan. You ever wipe so much the paper looks Japan? I don't know what that means. What does it mean to look like Japan? I had no beers on the course. I stayed strong, guys. I've not been drinking, and I've been walking like crazy. I've been walking like crazy. Like, if you look at my Whoop here, bro, 10,000 step average here over the last month. Every day I'm out there walking. I'm not drinking because I got to fit into my tux for the wedding, guys. I'm getting married in 2 weeks. And that I'm not even lying about. I'm getting married in 2 weeks. I'm getting hitched. I even got my fucking... This is my wedding ring in here. This finger is going to be naked no more soon. All right, don't congratulate me yet. Yeah, the wedding will be live streamed. All of you are going to be there. You got a prenup? Does a bear shit in the woods? I know, married at 58. It's insane. Finally, though. Someone finally locked this old main down. All right, guys. So that's the game plan. That's it. I think this is a good place to end it. We'll have another stream on Wednesday. So very quick, in summary, if this is the low, I'm willing to bid pullbacks into this price leg. I think that the S&P, even if it pulls back a little, I still think that there's potential for more upside. And if that happens, I do think that Bitcoin can draw up towards the yearly open. And if we do get up here, I'd be looking for shorts. All right, guys. So I hope you enjoyed the stream, as always. That's all I got. I'll be back Wednesday with another video. If you want to support me, go check out my podcast with Words of Wisdom. I tweeted about it. I also posted it in the Telegram. Links for all of my stuff is in the description. If you want to trade on Blowfin, no KYC, no VPN necessary, link in the description. If you want to trade with Bybit, link in the description. If you want to join the Haven, if you want to trade with Breakout, use my indicator. All that stuff's in the description. The free Telegram doesn't cost you anything. If you just want to leave a like and a comment, engage on Twitter, all that stuff helps. Make sure you're following me on TikTok, Instagram, all that fucking gay shit. All right, guys. Love you so much. Mwah. I will see you soon. I hope everyone has a fantastic Monday.